All right, if everyone would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call this work session to order at 6 p.m. Can we get a roll call, please?
Michael Cashman.
Present.
Thomas Wood.
Here.
Barbara Hebert.
Here.
Charles Costick.
Here.
Dana Isabella.
Here.
James Coffey.
Here.
And I, Katie Galucci, present.
Okay. Knowing that we have an audience that I'm pretty confident is here for a specific topic, I'm going to cover, right? I'm not trying to be snarky. I want to be mindful of your time. Okay. Procedurally, the public hearing cannot open to 6:05. We have a couple of other items that we need to move forward to, but one of the items that we always have is a public comment. Is anyone here to speak other than the topic for the public hearing this evening? Okay, we were able to check that box and move forward. So, supervisor's report, I say this to my town board and I say it to you folks. I hope everyone had a spectacular eclipse moment. I wanted to share some information that folks in this room may find quite fascinating. We continue to collect data and information, but the region saw numbers surge well over 200,000 people. Every hotel in Plattsburgh was booked for a 3-day stay. Many restaurants, right, and it's hit or miss, there's no silver bullet to any of this, right, but many restaurants reported that they had historic takeout and sit-down meals and so on and so forth. Many individuals actually booked fall stays for Plattsburgh or stays to come in the spring. Now, will they hold those reservations? But it really was quite warming. Anecdotally, my wife and I, if you ever wonder what it's like to be a town supervisor, you should wonder what it is like to be the spouse of a town supervisor. Somehow I convinced my wife to join me in the car to drive around the town center for several hours, writing down license plates. And I can report that we had license plates from all 50 states, including Hawaii and Alaska. I mean, it's really quite remarkable. We know that we had many individuals from our northern territories as well, but we also had many other individuals from Sweden, England, and other European countries. So Plattsburgh was truly, in that global map. I would also note that, and kudos to the city and other communities, the entire North Country, I think, did a spectacular job rolling out the red carpet. But in particular, I want to give public thanks and appreciation to our Parks and Recreation Department that hosted the Path Over Plattsburgh event in Katyville Park. Most people don't realize, but there's actually a path within a path. There's the path of totality, and then there's what's often referred to as the red line. We, as being close to the Adirondacks, think of the blue line, but the path actually has the dead center within the path of totality, and the Katyville Park was actually on the red line. We had one individual that joined us. It was his 13th, I believe, total solar eclipse. And the way that he referred to it is he goes, people that go on cruises, this is what I chase. So it was just really, I think, quite a spectacular thing that people discovered Plattsburgh, learned about Plattsburgh, engaged and had a greater interest. And so I want to thank our Parks and Rec Department, our Planning and Community Development, our Highway Department, our Water Department, all departments were involved. Katie, we did t-shirts, etc. But there's another group of individuals that I want to thank, and that's our community. When we have an infusion of individuals like this, I know it puts a lot of stress on individuals. So just thank you to the community being who we are by embracing people. I'm a transplant originally. Fun fact, in August it will be my 25th year here in Plattsburgh. And I was just reflecting on the fact that it's people to people that encourage people to come back to places, right? There's museums all around the country. There's beaches all around the country. If people have a really positive experience, then they will continue to come back. contract or build a relationship with a place. So thank you for that. And I knew that I could do the political thing just long enough to open the public hearing. So at this time, the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board Work Session Public Hearing, April 11th, 2024. The meeting was called to order at 6 p.m. by the presiding officer at the Town Hall on the Banker Road. Further notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Plattsburgh will meet and hold a public hearing thereon at the Town Hall located on the Banker Road in the Town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, New York, on Thursday, April 11th, 2024 at 6:05 p.m. prevailing time in relationship to proposed amendments to the town zoning map. This evening, we will accept written comments of the record of the hearing, and we will also open the public hearing to the floor for public comment. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Wood, Hebert, is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, can I get a roll call?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes, we will officially open the public hearing at 6:06 p.m. Before we begin with the public hearing, I do want to provide a statement kind of talking about the logistics of how we're going to manage this evening, and I think it will be helpful to everybody. The zoning amendment public hearing. The purpose of tonight's public hearing is to gather public comment on the proposed zoning map amendment of the 4 contiguous parcels that lie between Route 22, Salmon River Road, and Superior Drive. The parcel IDs are as follow: 254.4-4-22.11, 245.4-40.1, 245.4-41, and 245.4-16.2. 3 of the 4 parcels are currently zoned R2 residential, and 1 parcel is currently zoned NC neighborhood commercial. The proposed zoning map amendment would change the zoning district of these 4 parcels to I industrial. This is the only subject matter open for comment at the public hearing, and this is the only subject matter before the town board for consideration. A public informational meeting was held at 6 p.m. on March 14th, 2024, during a regularly scheduled meeting of the town board. At that time, attendees were afforded the opportunity to ask questions, receive answers regarding the proposed amendments. This public hearing serves only to collect comment, but is not a question-and-answer forum. Written comments were submitted for the record will be read out loud at the end of the hearing. Any comments related to the proposed zoning map and amendment should be directed to the Planning and Community Development Department. To be clear, no development project has been formally proposed or submitted for review at the locations considered for rezoning. Any future proposed development projects at this location will or would require a complete site plan, environmental review by the planning board, which also would include public notices and meetings. Only the merits of the zoning map amendment are under consideration at this time. No final decision or vote on this amendment will take place this evening. I just want everyone to be completely clear on that one in particular. If you walk away tonight, we are not voting on the amendment this evening. Please limit your comments tonight to the matter of the proposed zoning amendment of the 4 subject parcels. I want to take one last moment, and then I promise to be quiet, and we'll get into the public hearing. The town board does have a public comment policy. There's a copy on the back where some people signed in and some at the podium. I read the specific items as it relates to this public hearing tonight. Speakers may, but are not required to give their name, address, or organization. Speakers must be recognized by the presiding officer, which means that you do need to come to the podium. I do understand that some people may have mobility issues. This is a public hearing. We have to capture the material. Okay, I have to be sensitive to some hearing concerns that board members may have as well. Each person coming forward to speak will have up to 5 minutes to make his or her statement and may not yield any of the remaining time to another speaker. Speakers shall address board members from the podium and not approach any board member or town employees. Statements are to be directed to the town board as a whole and not to individuals. Public comment is not intended to require the board to provide any answers to the speakers. Again, this is a hearing. We're hearing from the public. And then finally, speakers shall observe common and accepted rules of courtesy, decorum, dignity, and good taste. So what we would ask of you is, we're going to be attentive, we're going to listen. Some of you may see us taking notes and stuff like that. These sometimes can be a long session. So the final thing that I would say, just of note, if there is an emergency, egresses, there's a door in the back there. Obviously, you came through the main door as well. We do have a public point of assembly on the other side of the building on the court, and down the hallways, the bathrooms as well. With that, I try to be as brief, and we'll move into it. At this point, if you're interested in speaking, I'll have you come to the podium. Again, you're welcome to say your name. It can be helpful, though, honestly, to say your name in residence, but it is not required. So I'll let you folks just queue up as you see fit.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for last month having that informational session. My name's Ron Sandford, 84 Salmon River Road, town of Plattsburgh, and I also have land in the town of Schuyler Falls. And the other thing, Mr. Cashman, I want to thank you for is getting Jersey Mike's open. We're going there after.
Just to put in perspective, they close at 9.
So we did, after that, excuse me, last meeting, some of us got together and we did put a petition together. I'll try to read it rather quickly because I think we should cover all the things that are here. It says, to the Town of Plattsburgh Planning, Zoning Commission, and the Plattsburgh Town Board. This is from residents of Linda Lane, Salmon River Road, Route 22, Superior Drive, and the area Archibald Road and Joshua Drive. And the reason is rezoning of residential property from residential to industrial. And if I may, it's in protest of the rezoning consideration of the zoning map amendment for tax map parcels. And if I could, I'd like to, it's all the same ones that Mr. Cashman mentioned and that are right there. So I don't have to take the time of reading all those numbers. We, the residents of the neighborhoods adjacent to and near this area, believe that rezoning will negatively impact our lives and homes. The noise pollution is the first thing we had on here. Noise from industrial property will directly impact the quality of life for the families living near this proposed zone change. Many of these residents have wood acreage directly behind them, which would not exist with industrial zoning. The noise from truck movement at the site, as well as entering and exiting, will impact our privacy as well as our quality of life. New construction, potentially spanning several years, would put an undue burden on the residents. The next item they listed was light pollution. Our neighborhoods are lined with trees and forests. Industrial zoning would create light pollution for most of the homes bordering this land. In some instances, residents already have noise and light pollution from the Burnell paving business on Route 22, which I understand is being sold and changing, but whatever. Additional industry will further prevent residents from enjoying their backyards. Many of us moved to this area for privacy, lack of through traffic, and rural free and dark skies. Next topic is water runoff and flooding. The water table in this region is very high. Additional structures and pavement brought about by rezoning will reduce the amount of natural land for water absorption, increasing runoff directly onto the properties to the south. Many of these homes have sump pumps now and would not be able to handle additional water on their properties now or in the future. This is extreme concern about the impact of rezoning on residential wells. There has been discussion that industrial companies would pay for residents to switch to town water. Residents of Linda Lane have no interest in it, excuse me, in this flooding of our properties by increased runoff, particularly during heavy rains, is a valid issue as well. Next topic is traffic. A change to the industrial zoning will create high traffic with heavy trucks impacting noise and safety on the Archie-Berto Road, Salmon River Road, Route 22, and onto Route 87 via exit 36. There's also already a high rate of accidents and speeding concerns in this area. I'd like to add to that I currently am the chairman of the Board of Fire Commissioners in South Plattsburgh. That intersection, Mr. Cashman's been out there with my son, the fire chief, at the Barks area right there, at Archie-Berto Road and 22, undue number of accidents currently with the traffic that is there. Wetlands and wildlife. The mapped areas for rezoning consist of wetlands which need to be considered for protected status. The land is also home to wildlife that would be displaced. Decrease in property values is the next topic. We purchased our homes in this location to live in quiet neighborhoods. The intent to utilize this land for industrial purposes will decrease property values for the reasons noted above. There are already several businesses on Route 22 which cause unsightly views, noise, dust, and increased traffic. In closing, we are not opposed to the creation of new jobs in our region and increased revenue for our town. There are more suitable industrial sites in the town of Plattsburgh that are shovel-ready and that would not put these neighborhoods in jeopardy in all the ways we have addressed in this opposition letter, respectively submitted. And I think we're just close to 40 residents that signed this, and we did this in the last week, actually. So thank you, and I don't know who I give this to.
Katie, our clerk.
All right,
and
perfect.
so that will be included with the record. So if
Thank you.
anyone has any written material that you would like to submit to us, we can accept that as well. Okay. I always like to use it as an example because sometimes people, that don't speak a lot. That was about 4 minutes and 30 seconds approximately. So 5 minutes can sometimes go by. So is there anyone else seeking to speak from the floor? Is there?
Sorry, I'm slow. Good evening, I'm Kathy LeBear. I live at 3990 State Route 22. We're across from Brunel, so we've already been fighting with the new business coming in. I'm totally against changing this zoning from residential to industrial because it's a neighborhood. We don't want industry coming into a pre-existing neighborhood. I want people to think, do you want this in your backyard? I don't. There's plenty of spaces already zoned for industry. We're going to have some vacancies coming up soon for industry to move into pre-existing buildings. So I just wanted to let you know that I, as a resident of Plattsburgh for almost 40 years, don't want to move and be forced to with the industry coming in.
Thank you. Is there anyone else seeking the floor?
It's not. My name is Gail Santor. I live with him. Poor Sam. There is an elephant in the room. We're not gonna bring that subject up, but otherwise, why the change? If there isn't a plan somewhere along the line, I know we can't discuss it, but then it's kind of a moot point. I mean, and I agree with just about everybody in this room. We've lived where we lived for 25 years, and as Ronnie mentioned before, his family came there 150 years ago. We're probably never gonna leave it. Hope our son takes over for it. All these people, they take care of their homes. You know, we have, and this is a problem, we have one eyesore, one big eyesore, that has been there for probably 30 years. I don't understand why the town hasn't, there's a home on Route 22, has never had full siding. Behind it, there are trucks, there are boats, there are trailers, there are race cars. It's an eyesore. I mean, all these people try to keep their homes, none of us are made of money. I mean, you're not talking high end, we're just average people who have worked hard our lives, and it's just awful. I mean, I've walked around the house for the last couple of weeks trying to say something that makes sense. And all I can say is, and you said that, or, I don't know, would you want this to happen in your backyard? I think what the elephant is in the room could perhaps find another location. This is not it, and the water, if anyone wants to come and walk through our woods, because our woods abut what the change is, at this time of the year, the water runs through it all the time. And if Salmon River didn't make a nice turn in our field, we'd be buried. But now the water runs off a steep bank embankment and goes into the river. I don't know, I just think it's the wrong thing to do. Thank you for listening.
Sometimes other things will creep into it, and I will provide only editorials to the non-public hearing items, okay? You did mention houses, you know, with siding and some different things. Please engage in with my office or the codes office. We can talk about some of those items and where some of the difficulty we as a local government have. We have corrective orders, but those individuals then have to have the opportunity to go to the court system. So sometimes things that you see on the surface that get very frustrated equally frustrate me, because we've put out a corrective order and sometimes it falls apart in some other issues. So I want to share some of the, sometimes what you see is not the full story, but give my office a call, we can talk about that, okay? Is there anyone else that is seeking the floor? Come on down.
Hi, I'm Marcia Flores-DeSorsi, I live at 31 Linda Lane, which is this little lot here, and so our property is, wait, where are we here? No, it's like, yeah, right here, this is 5 acres right here, so our lot, our corner would be industrial, and then behind our property is the Santor's property, which we spend many hours a day on, which they allow us to do with our animals. So, we bought this property less than 3 years ago. We downsized from a 5-bedroom home to a much smaller home, because we wanted a nice house that was ready for us to stay in for the rest of our lives, because it's been, the doors are wider, it's one floor, everything has been made, you know, very efficient for living out the rest of your life in. It has a property and buildings, barns that my husband loves. I have a beautiful cabin that I put in the backyard. Right where my cabin is where we would see directly into the industrial park. That's where our hot tub is, that's where we look at the stars at night. So I know I brought up many of these issues though at the last meeting. We have a very high water table, so we have water in our backyards pretty much until May, and then it dries up. And we're probably gonna have to do something in the front yard. But that's a big concern, because that's something that is not gonna change in terms of the water table, and with the storms that we have and the climate change, we definitely are south, and the water comes south. So any building that goes on in those industrial areas, the runoff is gonna come to us. It just is. So the light and the sound pollution, if there's any industrial buildings that are going on 24/7, you know, we're not gonna have the wooded property and the quiet property on a dead-end street along a river that we purchased. So that's the quality of life that we want to maintain, and the dead-end street and the residents that we're getting to know little by little as we're there, that's where we wanna live our life out. And I hope that that's what we can do. So I appreciate you listening, but 100% no to industrial is what we're seeking. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else seeking the floor? Come on down.
Well, my name is Wayne Dishon, I live in Window Lane as well. I've never been involved with anything like this, so I'm not sure how it all works. But does it have to be an all or nothing type thing? Like, is it like all industrial? Like that complete property, or could there, like, I'm a realist. I understand, like, if it's a big business, they probably really wanna push in there. But could something be done where, could there be a buffer? Could there be like a forever natural area that would kind of make everyone a little happy? I don't know the answer to that.
This isn't a Q&A. What I would refer you back to is to the Planning and Community Development Department that could engage with you directly with the Q&A though. The public hearing isn't designed for a Q&A.
So we just basically say we don't like the idea.
As it relates to, for this part of it, yes. Yeah.
But we don't like the idea, I guess.
Is there anyone else seeking the floor? Is there anyone else seeking the floor?
I'm Sarah Rizek, I also live on Linda Lane. I don't have anything to add to what's been said. I mean, I think a lot of the neighbors have covered so much of our concerns. They were covered in the previous meeting. I just want to be yet another voice saying, I don't want this in my backyard. I live right there. So it's like right in my backyard. Same water problems, same light pollution, all of that. That I think we're all pretty much united as far as I can see. We bought into this area because it's residential, because we wanted open spaces. We did not want industry in our backyard. And unlike some people who've been here for generations, I moved into the area, and when I retire in 7 to 10 years, if I have an industry in my backyard, I'm leaving the area. I have no reason to stay here. And if you turn nice residential areas into industry, you're going to lose people. There's a place for industry, but it's not in a residential area when so many people want that sort of space. So that's all I have to add.
Thank you. Is there anyone else seeking, come on down.
My name is Deborah Dowd. I live on Joshua Drive, just off of Superior. And I can't say any more, but I don't want this advancement to my area because the trucks that are gonna be coming down the road, it'll just ruin the whole neighborhood. The quiet, the peace, just so against it. That's all. I just want to be another voice like all these other voices. I do not want this development, this advancement, this industrial park in my backyard. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Come on down.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I also live on Linda Lane. Once again, want to go on record saying I don't want this. As a single mom, I bought my house in a quiet neighborhood, knowing that I could raise my child there, not have to worry. There's kids riding bikes, it's just easy. The minute that changes, what's the point of staying there? Why not move into an apartment? Why carry the burden of owning a house, paying taxes, maintaining it, doing all that, if we're gonna have all the same traffic? It just doesn't make sense. And once again, as someone who owns multiple buildings, I could live in my apartment building in the city and have convenience of walking to downtown restaurants and all of that great
procedurally, I'm gonna call for 3 more opportunities to speak from the floor, and at that point, I'll transition to the letters that will be read out loud. So you'll know what was written. Those will be included with the record, and then we will have a motion to adjourn the public hearing, and then we'll move on for the rest of the meeting. So, is there anyone seeking the floor? Is there anyone seeking the floor? Is there anyone seeking the floor? Give people a moment to give any consideration. Okay. I will now ask the clerk, have we received any written comments to be read aloud and placed in the record?
Yes, we sure have.
Okay. Would the clerk please proceed with reading those items that have been received by the town? And just to encapsulate how this has happened, if individuals sent my office material, it was then distributed to the clerk's office, who is the keeper of the records, and vice versa, if her office received anything. And then all material was also shared with the Planning and Community Development Department, that is the point, is the office that's helping to manage this project, okay? Just want to clarify procedural, so if people are wondering where the records are. All right, I'll let you read.
Dear Mr. Cashman, I have been a realtor in Clinton County for 24 years and have dealt with many commercial and industrial transactions. It has come to my attention that the town is considering rezoning 137 acres to industrial. It is land located between Route 22 and Salmon River Road behind the abandoned railroad tracks. I'm familiar with this land and truly believe the town is making the wisest decision in considering this change. Large, affordable industrial parcels are hard to find. This one is well off the public roads near I-87 and has water available. With neighbors like NYSEG, the Brunel Building, an interstate, and airport, it is well suited for industrial use. I applaud the town on this vision in planning and accommodating the large employers that we need. Please consider the approval of this amendment. Sincerely, Patrick Holcomb. The next letter. Dear Supervisor Cashman, it has come to my attention that the town board is holding a public hearing on the rezoning of approximately 135 acres of vacant land near adjacent to Route 22 to industrial. These subject lands run adjacent and westerly of what seems to be the abandoned CP rail line lying between Archibald Road and south to Route 22, which is just north of its intersection with Salmon River Road. As a commercial industrial real estate broker, I regularly am interacting with companies looking for industrial space and or land to build such. The available inventory of industrial space for lease over the last several years has been extremely tight. In many instances, we have not been able to send a potential lead information on available spaces that fit their needs due to lack of inventory. Although it may seem like there is ample vacant land all around us, the fact of the matter is that when you take into account the needs of industry, utilities, power, zoning, etc., there are actually very few options. These subject parcels are well situated with water supply nearby as well as proximity to I-87 and other area manufacturing and warehousing. I believe it is a good step for the town board to make and thank them for helping to remove this one big barrier to potential development. Having alternate lands properly zoned keeps spotlight in the town. Thank you again, signed Matthew T. Blair. This is one letter that was submitted and signed by 6 people. So I'll read the letter first. Read the zoning amendment, rezoning Route 22 to industrial. Dear Supervisor Cashman and members of the zoning board, I'm ready to express my support for the town's proposed rezoning of the area along Route 22 for industrial use. As a resident of the proposed project site and an employee of Schluter Systems, I am keenly aware of the potential benefits this rezoning could bring to our community. The prospect of a new Schluter Systems distribution center on this land can bring tangible benefits to our community and strengthen the economic fabric of our area. Furthermore, I appreciate Schluter's longstanding presence in our community. The company has proven itself to be a reliable source of quality jobs, thereby enhancing the livelihoods of countless families in our area. I'm confident that their continued investment in our town will only serve to further boost our community. In conclusion, I support the town of Plattsburgh rezoning proposal along Route 22. Signed by Sean Watson, Melissa Bola, Cindy Martineau, Veronica Saxton, Joseph Thomas and William Gadway. In regards to public hearing notice for 4/11 of '24 on rezoning lands off and west of Route 22 to an industrial classification. I understand this area is located adjacent to State Route 22 and lying westerly of the railroad tracks, south of Archie-Bordeaux Road and north of Salmon River Road, consisting of about 137 acres. This property is not suitable for a housing development expansion and more suitable for development as an industrial area. This due to the following reasons. Limited access from Route 22 and/or Archie-Bordeaux Road. The land south of Superior Drive is wet and could be construed as wetlands. Town of Plattsburgh building statutes require building lots without town sewer to be oversized lot dimensions to accommodate septic systems. Because of the oversized lot requirement, the installation of water, sewer, electrical, and road construction makes developing this property residential financially impossible. There already exists an industrial-type entity on Route 22 just off of exit 36, that being the New York State Electric and Gas Facility and their surrounding lands, which are in close proximity to the land under consideration for a zoning change. Other commercial business in close proximity to the proposed zoning change are former LTS Home Sales Center, the Shell Gas Station and Dunkin' Donuts store off of exit 36, the Town of Plattsburgh Fire Station, Brunel Asphalt and Paving Co., Mountain View Motors and RV Sales, and Yuki's Grocery Store. Although these commercial businesses are not of an industrial nature, it provides that this mix of commercial and industrial entities can coexist with no negative impact, and this mix is acceptable to the general public. For the reasons listed above, I would be in favor of rezoning the property south of Superior Drive to Industrial District. Regards, Thomas M. Leclerc. To the Town of Plattsburgh Board. This statement is requested to be read into the record at tonight's town board meeting since I am unable to attend. Subject is the proposed zoning change west of Route 22 and north of the Salmon River Road from residential to industrial use. I implore the town board members to vote no on this zoning change for the following reasons. 1, the unchecked and unrestricted current commercial and industrial growth has led to current local housing shortage. More industrial and commercial growth will exacerbate this condition. 2, the residents in the immediate area are mostly against this proposal, and it will add visual pollution, noise, and evaluation to the residential setting. 3, industrial growth is suitable at the former county airport, and this is where the industrial growth is proper. 4, such growth will overburden our power, water, and sewage facilities. Eventually, our pristine Plattsburgh Bay will have the funky greenish color of the Burlington area. 5, once approved, developers and builders can apply for a diverse area and use variances that then the town favors for its unchecked cancerous growth ambitions. 6, the supervisor, codes officers, and the Board of Appeals has a record of ignoring codes violations at 40 South Junction Road. Is the slightly outside storage of building materials in violation of that property's use variance. That, with the ignored parking lot expansion, has adversely affected my adjacent property and is ignored by the supervisor on down the town's chain of responsibility. Thank you for your attention to these facts. Jeffrey A. Barker. And finally, we join in strongly opposing rezoning of the mentioned area from residential to industrial or commercial. Rezoning in an area that has been residential for a century and on the edge of Lake Champlain and the Salmon River and on the border of the Adirondack Park is hard for those longtime taxpayers to understand. When there are many other places in the town of Plattsburgh that are already zoned for commercial or industrial use and appear to have plenty of available space for industrial growth. The area in question is also a sensitive environmental spot. Any rezoning in this specific area seems incredibly short-sighted, would damage the value of our homes and our quality of life, seems unnecessary for economic growth in the area since other non-residential land and or less enviro-sensitive is available for industrial expansion, and would adversely affect possible economic growth from tourism. We respectfully request that you reject any rezoning of the area. Thank you. Signed, Carol Fitzpatrick Carroll and Michael P. Carroll. And that's all that we have received regarding the comment.
All right, and I would just comment that anything that I received from my office was again transmitted to the clerk's office so that, and I believe we actually received emails up to about 5:30 tonight. We usually close, our offices close at about 4, but we wanted to make sure that we extended an opportunity knowing how important this issue was. Is there anyone here seeking to provide written comment but not seeking to speak from the floor? Is there anyone here seeking to provide written comment but not willing to speak from the floor? Is there anyone here to provide written comment but not seeking to speak from the floor? Sometimes we do have that, okay? At this point, I would just like to reiterate one particular thing before seeking a motion to close the public hearing. To be clear, no development project is formally proposed. Okay? There is no formal project proposed or submitted for review at the locations considered for the rezoning. Any future proposed development at this location would require a complete site plan and environmental review by the planning board, which would also include public notices and meetings. No final decision or vote on this amendment will take place this evening. So, I don't even have a date that is locked in yet for when the board would consider the final action, okay? So it will be provided in notice, like we have been, you know, on the town website, et cetera, et cetera. So I would end by connecting to what the gentleman said in the back in particular. I really want to extend this conversation a little bit, just so people really understand. Planning and Community Development Department are more than happy to sit and have some conversations about the nuances of what this would look like potentially. You know, I'm not going to get into all the Q&A, but the buffers and, you know, the size, the scale, and so on and so forth. So while you may be hardened in your position, pro or against, I would strongly encourage you to understand the depths of what it could like versus what it may be versus what it can't be, because there is a spectrum within that, okay? So with that, I'll read the notice. Again, tonight the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board Work Session, public hearing, April 11th, 2024. The meeting was called to order at 6 p.m. by the presiding officer of the Town Hall on the Bank Road. Further notice is hereby given that the Town Board of the Town of Plattsburgh will meet and hold public hearing thereon at the Town Hall located at the Bank Road in the Town of Plattsburgh, Clinton County, on Thursday, April 11th, 2024 at 6:05 p.m. prevailing time. In relation, this evening was provided the opportunity to accept comments from the floor, and we also had written comments read into the record. Is there a motion to close tonight's public hearing?
So moved.
Isabella? Is there a second?
Seconded.
Hebert? Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, can I get a roll call?
Thomas Wood,
Yes.
Barbara Hebert,
Yes.
Charles Costick,
Yes.
Dana Isabella,
Yes.
Michael Cashman.
Yes. We will officially adjourn the public hearing at 6:44 p.m. Again, no formal action to be taken this evening.
I love how they don't want to see him get his nose. Huh? Well, he told me, when he came over, that was a tradition, that Leclerc, is it Leclerc owns that one? He wants to sell that, he really wants to sell it. He told me, he came to my building over a year ago, when I was like, wow, that's a year.
We'll continue with the rest of the work session. A couple things you have for draft consideration that will be on the agenda for next week's meeting. We have the draft minutes, the establishment of the standby on-call compensation office of the Town of Plattsburgh Codes
Yeah,
Officer.
but they got the ARC, but
Again,
they
has
don't
been,
plan to have a draft.
item that's been.
You got ARC.
Constantly.
ARC facility.
it also cleans
The
up.
rehabilitate, the disabled people in that.
There is a.
Yeah, when you come up, when you turn on the 22 and come up to Salmon River Road, that little white place.
Yes, I know where you are, sorry, yes, sir. I know.
Cause I live right straight across from Linda Lane. Miss Boggy is next to me. Jackie Lewis used to be next to me. Now
Requirements
it's,
from civil service.
Rusty,
Us, so we are acting on it.
Buster,
Then there's the
here.
resignation, Greg Grinnell is a motor
He's a
equipment
counselor
operator
over there,
mechanic
saying
in
he bought the house and fixed it all up.
in the highway department. It doesn't change his status as an elected official, it is purely administrative. So we are doing it administratively.
Yeah, I mean, Sandra came
So,
in and I read everything he
and,
said,
you
and
know,
I said, oh, that's still
from
going
time to
on,
time,
cause I thought,
elected
when we came to the
officials
other meeting
move to
about
different roles and they've been in civil
guys
service
from
titles and
Cleveland down
stuff.
with trucks there.
Sometimes administrative things need to be, you know,
Brunel's place. When I first got that letter, I thought it was a big tractor trailer, and it said Ergo Transportation Company, I thought it was gonna be big tractor trailers and diesel and all that business.
so you can provide committee reports.
They just want that building so they can pull their trucks in and quick maintenance and take them back to Beacon.
For us to get one too, we have to come down and fire a settlement, left up on 22. You can't get out of those, there's so many.
Are you that little stretch off of Archie-Berto, the one that goes to the left, if you go to the railroad track? Yeah.
Yeah, but there's only, what, 10 houses back in there.
I'm trying to think of the guy,
Thomas
he's
would
retired
play.
Army or Air Force, he's big, tall,
Yeah,
slender.
yeah, right on the corner.
Yeah. He used to have a horse, I think he used to have horses. I can't remember what his name, I
Got
see
the
him
Air
all
Force
the time.
mailbox.
Crawford,
Cropper,
yeah. Yeah.
I see him a lot in the Hannaford, some of the Toledo.
Oh, okay.
He used to come into Lowe's when I worked there.
Mr. Maggie.
I was really concerned about the noise. We turned off the noise
I think he carries his short, but I don't know if it's covered.
Especially starting here pretty soon, when Airborne opens up
Oh, yeah.
on Saturdays. I don't know why the troopers don't come out there, because them guys come flying down through there.
If that's something.
When I was a kid, we had to go to a place that's
So you're
right.
gonna ask him that,
next to the railroad track.
I don't know.
I did see
And
them on that.
I thought I'd never see that, those trains came by all night long, but, you know, after a week or two, you didn't hear
Yeah, I
them.
think his insurance.
They were still there.
I didn't really have much after I heard of what they wanted to do. They explained that they have, it's all box trucks. And I don't think they're gonna be that much different than Brunel running out there. Because they said they wanna pull them in and, you know, they've got a door here and that door opens up on both sides. I think you can go straight through. You got two doors on the back side of that thing.
And the other thing
And
is.
it's like a maintenance facility. I know he had that other place over to the right. He said they'd only use that like if somebody needed an engine and it wasn't available. They could park it over there.
But there was one that was.
Because I knew he used to have a race car. Bob did when he was racing to Bush North. He had that guy from Massachusetts that was driving. I got pictures when I was going to Clinton, taking a photography course. I walked over there and he had a Chevy Lumina that, I think it was Lumina or Monte Carlo, one or the other. That was his Bush North car, and they used to use that as a race, as the garage to fix your work on.
Town clerk's side, when I was talking to Katie, again, great information that comes out from the archives department, New York State provided.
I noticed a lot of those tractor trailers that carry the wood shavings. I don't know if they're trying to get by. Of course, they talk to each other. They know where the weigh stations are, so I don't know if they're trying to. But the troopers ain't no dummies. They got that portable scale.
That's it.
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
Find a way to do it.
Yeah, I remember when I worked on the base, we were waiting for a Pepsi delivery to the BX. Like, wait a minute, we're gonna be closing here pretty soon. They called us up. They got caught over there on Route 9 by Stewart's in Niagara.
Oh, yeah?
And they pulled them over and the trailer was okay, but the cab, the brakes on the cab or something. And they had to send another truck all the way from Keysville.
I think this,
You know, there's a lot of places besides there that we can go.
shown the paper, however.
The whole county airport, the county's.
on record.
Look at all the buildings they built over there. They rebuilt that new place at, what do they call that? They build,
Put it on the street.
laser cut those parts out and stuff, Schwed? No, that new company.
Town for hospitality.
Oh, they were carrying out a meeting.
For people to have come, to have had a visit, and then
Smart,
to find,
smart system.
you know, it may not seem like a big thing to an email, but, you know, they carved out enough time to be thoughtful enough, and Greg's received a couple of them. Where, a couple of individuals that were taking really, really beautiful photos. We've printed some of them.
Oh, it really is.
Not only was it from the event, but it was actually from the perspective.
I get to sleep with the president's wife every night.
So, you know, like shop. So it's just kind of a, I think, a nice little nod.
That's one good joke,
The last thing that I would end with, unfortunately, Charter Day, we had a winter storm, and we didn't have an opportunity to really do the full employee recognition. But I did want to publicly acknowledge, it was the first time that we've done this. We do a top notch, and we did it internally where there's a peer-to-peer process. 32 individuals were peer-to-peer recognized, either between teams or individuals. But we had two categories. One was a top-notch team member, and then a top-notch team. It could have been a combination of certain departments or individuals working together. But the individual was Donna from planning, and then the team that was recognized was the water department. And that was selected by a secret panel of non-town employees that read them, so that there was, you know, no individual was the kind of thumb on the scale. So they received certificates, and it was a nice note. So, with nothing further, I know of no need to have an executive session this evening. So we will adjourn tonight's meeting at 6:52. Drive safe, everyone. Have a lovely evening.
Donna and the water department.
Ooh,
Oh.
you got me a tea cake.
Yes,
That's nice.
Thank you.
Is that from that glue paper?
She was actually speaking at Quantum tonight, that's why I was running late, because.
Did you tell her where you were bringing it to?
Yes, she said you gave her a really nice